Well, hello, everyone. Today is Sunday, October 19th, and you are watching The Viewscreen. I'm your host, Amy Nelson.
And I'm your host, Kelvin Wood. The Viewscreen is your weekly Star Trek magazine show featuring news, special features, our friends, and lots of love being sent to our Star Trek family all across the globe.
And thank you to those who are watching live. Hello, hello. We see you. Go ahead and say hello in the chat and add your comments to enjoy the discussion that we have for you today.
Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and even the alert button on YouTube to make sure you never miss an episode of The Viewscreen. Amy, how are you? How's your week going?
It has gone interesting. Very full week. It seems like October is just busy, busy. I have had something every day after work. And so it has flown by. And I mean, it's a fun problem to have. So how has your week been?
I was going to say it's hard work being popular, but to then follow that with, well, I've done nothing all week, makes it so it's easy being unpopular. So I've got a little bit of a cold this week. It's cold and flu season. So reminder to everyone to go and get your jabs and your vaccinations if your doctor's asking you to do so.
That was one of the things. Yeah, that was one of the things that I did after school was about my flu shot. So
brilliant. So I'm going to be hovering over the mute button if I get a little bit hoarse and raspy, if I'm coughing. So yeah, it's just that time of year where it's just really nice to stay indoors, do nothing. James and I didn't have any visitors or anything this weekend, so it's just been lovely staying at home. But I did notice as well when I was checking social media this morning, there's quite a few birthdays in our friendship groups out there. So I'd like to say a very happy birthday to the lovely Ica and also to Monroe. And I'd be in trouble if I didn't do this one. It's also my mother's birthday. So happy birthday, Mum.
Oh, happy birthday, Kelvin's mum. Well, oh my goodness. What do we have coming up for today's show?
Well, what are we wearing today? First of all, we're doing a cosplay episode today. So here we are. We're celebrating New Trek. I'm here in my Lower Decks science uniform. And Amy, what have you got on?
Well, I am in my red Strange New World, so also celebrating New Trek. And Kelvin, yesterday was Trek Masters Lower Decks quiz. So you are cross-promoting that. We will. So if you didn't watch that yesterday, go check it out on our YouTube channel. And they had an artist who worked on Lower Decks participate as a contestant. So I missed it yesterday. I will be going back to watch that for sure.
I certainly will be doing the same. But before that, shall we see who we've got coming up on today's show with us?
Yes. Of course, we are bringing Kristin back to cover the news.
Hey, Kristin. And Tyler makes his return to the Viewscreen, joined by the lovely Madison to talk cosplay with us this week. Hey, guys.
Hey. Oh, yay. And a warm welcome to Derek, who's here to talk about tailoring and making his own custom Star Trek cosplay.
Hey. So plenty of people on the show today, Amy. I think we better get started.
Yes. Well, look, we've got some comments. Hello to William. And yes, Retro Doc. We've got our associate producer, JJ, here. So good to see you.
Morning, Jay. I love this. It's like a school register, just reeling everyone off. You're in work mode, Amy.
I am present. Okay.
Well, thank you all for your presence. Okay, let's go over to the newsroom and join Kristin. Hello, Kristin. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Great. What is your cosplay?
I'm just doing a little like Freddy Krueger inspired sweater this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very fortunate. I'm very Yeah, I'm glad I don't have his skin, but his sweater is always on point. So I don't actually have any Trek uniforms. So I don't have anything to like just throw on for a cosplay. So that may need to be something I remedy sooner than later.
Well, as Matt Harker pointed out, he said you could always wear the green sheet from when I was I'm sure
It's
that's
still in
the
my
modern.
closet. But will it look the same without Christian there for
I know.
contacts? Otherwise, I'm just some crazy lady walking around in a sheet.
Yes.
And how was Thanksgiving last week?
It was lovely. Good times, good conversations, good wine. Just all together a wonderful celebration. So now I'm all wrapped up. Oh, thank you. You know what? If I could star in a Elm Street movie, I absolutely would, particularly if I could go back and be in the first one with Johnny Depp.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So Retro Doc said in the comments, I've never seen any Elm Street movies, but I would if Kristin was starring in them.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh.
right. Well, what have you got for us this week, Kristin?
But it was a very slow news week. I'm assuming last week with the Comic-Con and all of that was a news heavy week. So this week is just, I'm going to be out of here in like 2 minutes. So first, of course, we have our birthday episode of the week, and it's one of my all-time favorites. We have Schisms.
Ooh, good choice.
Well, it aired 33 years ago today, season 6, episode 5. It's so funny reading some of the how it was received, and a lot of people actually didn't rate it very high.
What?
And that, I know, that shocked me when I was looking up, like, because when I saw reception, I was like, oh, everybody loved it right off the bat, right? No, some people didn't. And I thought, blasphemy. Pure blasphemy. This is one of my favorites. Again, growing up as a fan of horror, this was sort of that really good crossover episode. I thought the special effects were amazing. I thought this scene in particular with the clicking in the background, just pure artistry. So 33 years ago today, Schisms released.
Brilliant. And a great spooky season episode. Very October.
It is, yes. And
So I
spooky,
love.
yes. No, go ahead.
Sorry. So I love the picture that you have here that you've chosen, because this is a great example that I used when I taught pre-algebra about the coordinate grid, because in my mind, that's all it is just a big holodeck. And so I'd put that up and I would draw a coordinate grid and I'd say, all right, what is the position of the table? And the students would have to give me the location to plot a point. So
I love that. It's funny, on a Reddit post the other day, somebody asked, what is a skill that you have as somebody born pre-2000? When I was like, okay, ouch. And they said that no longer is applicable. And the number one was reading maps. And so so I love that it's being taught. And then somebody came back and said, the real talent though is being able to fold the map.
yes. Yes.
You're
While driving.
While driving. Mine was always flipping through my printed off map quest while I'm driving, trying not to get in an accident. But anyway, we digress as always. Yes, Schisms. Love it. Go watch it. It's an excellent episode. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Mm-hmm. Next up, my meme of the week. It's hilarious because you all are wearing new Trek stuff today, but this just made me LOL because every time a new Trek comes out, Trekkies are always just like, but Voyager juice. So the only one missing off of here for me anyway is TNG. Mm-hmm. I thought this was super cute. One of my favorite meme templates of all time. And I know that on here we're all we're fans of the new Trek, but there's a lot of purists who are not.
I think purists is a very polite description of the gatekeepers. Retro Doc says best meme ever. Well done.
Meme ever.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's a lot to be said about always having new content, always having that great stuff, but a lot of us or some of us are always just like, no, give me the truck I know. But but looking at time and how time moves and how time is so funny, that once upon a time they dealt with the same issues that New Trek deals with now. Just they didn't have the internet as active with social media, so there wasn't as much online discourse about it. Yes. Okay, on to a news story, and unfortunately it's not a really happy one. We lost somebody this week from the Star Trek family, Samantha Agar, who was best known for her role as Marie Picard in the episode Family. So she passed away this week. But looking through her filmography, this woman was so busy throughout her life. She did so much in the film community. She's absolutely stunning inside and out. And she went on to the next emanation this week. And we wish her a very safe and happy journey.
Bless her.
Yes. And the only other news story I have, this is it, is some of the reviews are in for Voyager Across the Unknown.
Yes.
Yes. So this is the new one. I guess right now what's out is the very basic story, the very basic like preview. I guess it's not the full game yet. So I kind of went through a few articles out there and summarized some of the pros and cons that they had. So some of the cons though are kind of they're bad. So no voice actors. I was thinking if this was a really supported game, they would have had some voice actors. They didn't. Slow reactions of controls. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing it's frustrating. The graphics of the characters, as you can kind of see, they leave a bit to be desired. But if you grew up playing the NES like I did, graphics don't really mean a lot to you. And there was no original theme music. Yes, Christos, it needs the original music and voices. Absolutely. Otherwise, it loses a lot of that authenticity. And I think that the immersion into the storylines that we are hoping for. However, the pros, I think, show that this game has a lot of potential. So maybe they can really clean it up. But so the storylines are apparently very immersive. So it's the caretaker episode, and you have to go around to these different planets and collect supplies and whatnot to help Voyager. You have to send your away team. So the ship graphics apparently are really good. It's just the people, and you can kind of see in the graphic that I used on here with them on the transporter pad, where the transporter pad does look like it's got the detail and really good graphics, and then the rest of them just look like blurry action figures. The selecting of the away teams adds a new level of strategizing that a lot of people really liked, because if you know that your away mission was going to contain certain missions or certain things to be done, you had to be very specific with who you pick for your away team. And it really gave the players a sense of ownership over how the game was unfolding. So that was what a lot of people liked. So it sounds like the guts of the game are really good. There's just some polishing that some people are wanting to be cleaned up. So maybe with some of the reviews and quite a bit of traction online, there were a lot of people talking about this on different websites, and Reddit was all about it. Maybe it will get some interest to have some of the stars come in, maybe some money behind it, maybe being able to license the music and whatnot, and have somebody clean up. The one I saw, the graphic that I saw that I when I went back to find it again, I couldn't. It was their 7 of 9. it was like a 2-vix of 7 of 9 between her as a Borg and her not as a Borg, and it was not cute. It was full nightmare fuel. And we all know Jerry Ryan. There's nothing about Jerry Ryan that's nightmare fuel. And so I was like, who in their right mind was trying to pass this off as a 7 of 9? No, ma'am. But anyway, I'd be interested to know if any of the listeners have tried this game yet and what you think. And do you agree with the pros and cons? And would you play and engage in the full version of this game when it is released? So, yeah, but
I would forgive these graphics. I remember the old Voyager Elite Force game 20 years ago, and it looked a lot like this. So obviously technology has come on leaps and bounds over the years, but I enjoy the nostalgia element of playing a computer game now. That's a lot like a game I would have played when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I like that. What I find strange is if it's a money thing that they can't afford the licensed music and the voices. Another Star Trek game I play, Star Trek Timelines, I remember going to a developers forum and making some suggestions of the missions should align with the episode storylines. And I had my head bit off saying it was a very bold assumption to think that they'd be able to do that without paying the writers of the original episodes. So I was, promptly put back in my box. So if this game is allowed to use the original storylines, I'm wondering how they got around those licensing issues there. Maybe that's where all the money's gone.
Maybe, but I've also heard that as if you change it something like 30%, if you change it from the original, you aren't tied to paying whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's something I heard years ago, so it could be complete bunk. I don't know. But because everybody knows what is being represented, but maybe it's just not being said as clearly because the choice of where you go and what you do is completely up to you. So one player said that he tried to stay exactly in line with what the episodes had, so including picking his away team. He picked who went on that away team on the Voyager show, and then he went back and played it a whole bunch of different ways. But he said it was very interesting watching it unfold as the series had. But no, I agree, Kelvin, that there needs to be some alignment. You can't just have it willy-nilly. You need some of the authenticity.
Well, that's sort of my question. Isn't this like licensed with Star Trek? And so wouldn't they be backing it, or is this not?
I don't know, and that I'm going to do a little digging on, because again, I really love this idea. I love how they have gone back to very basic roots of strategy games, where it's not just all explosions and blowing up people and whatnot and respawning. I think that's a thing that happens in games now.
It is.
This has that nostalgic feel to it. So I really have high hopes that this is going to be well done when the final version is released.
So we have Christos in the chat,
Okay.
thankfully, saying it is official. And he says also that I've only watched some gameplay videos on YouTube waiting for PS5 as the demo doesn't work on Macs. And we have RetroDoc saying maybe because the game's on one or more of the novels. Oh, it's based... The game's on one or more of the novels, so it would seem like a new adventure to players who hadn't read it.
Yeah. But I do my favorite books growing up were always when Goosebumps started doing the pick your own adventure. So, at the end of a chapter, it would say, do you A, follow the monster down the hallway, or B, turn around and run? And it's like, if you pick A, go to chapter 14, B, go to chapter 19. That's what this is, right? So it's very much where it's not sticking to any storyline necessarily unless you choose it to do that. So I kind of enjoy that every time you play this game, technically it doesn't have to be the same. And you can see how each one turns out, including what drew me to it originally was you can actually play it out where Tuvix is not separated. Because I think we all want to know what would happen if Tuvix stuck around. Someone protect Kess, because things were getting creepy there. So anyway, I'm glad that there's some people who are following this game as well. I have heard that a lot of games, for some reason, Mac doesn't do well with games. So Justin did have to buy a PC at once upon a time just for gaming. But yeah, I don't know why Mac is not really compatible with a lot of this stuff, but here we are.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, well, shall we bring our guests in and see what they thought of the news today?
Yes.
Okay, so Derek, are you a gamer? What did you think of this new Voyager game?
I'm not much of a gamer. The last Star Trek game that I played was probably in 1997, maybe. Do we remember the Final Unity?
I love
where
that.
It was a very slow Windows 98 sort of click through. Had to load it in DOS.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember it well.
But I loved that. I loved that game back then.
Well, maybe you like this one then, since it's retro.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Do y'all remember The Fallen?
I know the game, but it's one
Deep
of
Space Nine, The Fallen. I loved playing that
it.
game. That was wonderful.
Was that like a walk around the promenade type game? Like,
yes, that's why I loved it. And they had all the voices. It was great.
Yeah, I think the lack of voices, I think, is what's going to stick with a lot of people, because they said, whose voice did they say? Chakotay's. I think one of the guys was like, it just takes you out of the story, that it was not it. So, unfortunate. But who knows? Who knows? This was just a demo. The final release, I'm excited to see what improvements they're able to make. Yeah.
Anything for you in the news, Madison, that caught your eye?
Well, I wanted to say, unlike you, I played Timelines since the beginning. And I absolutely love that one. But I swear, maybe someone will tell me if I'm wrong, wasn't there an NES TNG game in the late 90s? I swear I either played that TNG game on my NES, or it was on the little handheld version. There was
a Generations game too.
Yes. Yeah. I swear. And that one, I loved anything on the old NES.
Yes. Agreed.
They were fun. They were easy. And I'm old. And so you can't give me too many controls. If you've got the X up, down, it's like, you've already lost me. It's I've reached that stage where too much technology. No, thank you.
You know, Madison, I'm completely on board with you on that. I played GoldenEye once. I couldn't find a weapon. I somehow backhanded some guy to death in the one of his little quarters, and then I got stuck in a corner, and that was it. And I was like, I'm done. So that's when I stopped playing video games.
My husband plays an Aliens game, and I'm constantly like, are you hiding in that locker? And he's like, no, I just got stuck in here. I think the game cracks me up. It is the scariest game. It's this one alien game, and the controller shakes when the alien is coming up on you, and you're just constantly getting killed. It is the scariest game. Yeah.
And I find it funny too. It's like guys are like, hey, where's the whatever in the house? And I'm like, it's literally right in front of you. They can't see it. But in a game, they'll be like, sniper 300 yards away. And I was like, how did you see him?
Yeah.
Games are so complicated these days.
I know.
James is a gamer. He plays this Star Wars run around shooting people game. And he didn't know that he was playing online with real people that were connected via voice control. And all of a sudden, he just heard someone cough. And he was like, was that you? It's like, no. And it was like someone millions of miles away.
Oh, that's funny.
I can hear him and see him doing this. Oi, who is this?
And then you get the angry 12-year-old boys. Yes, Retro Doc,
I'm-
this is why we
yes.
stick with Pong.
Yes, I'm with you.
Thank you.
Right, it's turning into an episode of Bargain Bin Gamer right now. And what I would say, if anyone's interested in seeing the history of Star Trek video games, Davey did actually come on the view screen last season and did a very comprehensive
So good.
timeline of all of them. So go back and find that on YouTube and give it a watch. All of the games that we just referenced were in that list. William's here saying, I'm reminded of a time Tyler, Madison, and I tried to do Trek VR in Vegas, and the holodeck malfunctioned.
That was so bad.
Tyler,
That
tell
was
us
so
more.
bad.
It was so horrible, and we
It was at the
still had
Venetian.
COVID masks on. So
Oh
you've got
no.
heavy backpack on. You got goggles. We had to have
Yep.
a mask on. I'm overheating, like the worst kind of hot flashes you could possibly imagine, and we're getting dizzy because the thing wasn't working correctly. And they keep telling us just look at the ground, and we're like, the ground is moving.
Ground is
It
moving.
was-
Yeah.
It was horrible.
See,
Oh.
the great thing about being with William and Madison somewhere when something isn't going well, in unison at the same time, they both in unison went, I think it's time for a refund.
Yeah.
And I just went,
Done.
done,
refund,
out,
now.
over.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm absolutely done. Absolutely done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Tyler
Wow.
knows when I shut down because I lean back and I tend to just cross my arms. And that's my universal sign for whatever is going on. I'm not going to be a part of, and I just shut down. And he saw me doing that, and he's like, "Get her out, get her out."
I knew in that moment it was time to stop.
Yeah.
It's very much the sensory overload is there, and your nervous system is just like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mhm.
No
Yeah.
more.
Brilliant.
Which is again.
Thank you for bringing back that memory, William. I had almost completely blocked it.
What a backhanded compliment that was.
Yeah.
He knows I love him.
Brilliant. Well,
Awesome.
Kristin, thank you as always for all of your research this week. We really enjoyed that, and we will see you guys a little later in the show.
See you.
Yes. All right.
Okay, what's next, Amy?
Okay, I'm very excited. Well, we're bringing Tyler back, but this time talking about cosplay because him and Madison do some amazing cosplay. And when we were finding guests, I was like, we need to get Madison on board. I met her and we just had this instant connection. I'm like, she needs to come on the view screen. I need another strong female to be on screen with me. And this lady is so incredible. So Madison, welcome to the view screen. Tyler, welcome back. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Happy morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is. And I just want to say, Kelvin and Amy, I adore you both and love you so much. So thank you so much for inviting me on to get to chat with both of you because you're both just so fantastic.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I was just thinking, we've got some time zones today. We've got literally every American time zone and the UK. So God knows what time it is, really.
Yeah, exactly.
See, Trek is worldwide. I mean, it's just so wonderful.
I mean, I'm like you guys, friends from everywhere.
Yep.
From all over the world.
I know. This Trek family is just so beautiful and wonderful. Yeah. This is why we have the view screen. Kelvin and I say it because we just love talking with our friends. And so here we are. So yes. So you guys seriously have some amazing cosplay. And I just wanted to know like how you guys found each other and decided to start your group cosplay. When did that happen?
Oh my gosh.
How we met is actually an amusing story. I was teaching at a private liberal arts university, and Tyler was a student. And God love him, he tried to draw.
I did.
He really did his best trying to
I was just hot for teacher. That's all I was.
There you go. And he finished and graduated and moved away, and then came back and was working on one of his masters. And I was like, hey, let's go get dinner. So we started going to get dinner, and then we decided once a month was not enough, and we just started hanging out constantly. And
All the time.
All the time. And just started talking about the things we had in common and things we enjoyed. And we were both like, okay, I think we match each other nerd for nerd. We're supposed to be doing stuff together. And we just built a friendship on being nerdy, I guess.
No, it really was, because we started, I was the only one that was brave enough to go into her office and chat, because she was an oddity in the department at the time, because she was a strong female and the rest of them were not. And so, and I don't know, I hang out more with strong females than I do with anybody else. And so I would just go in and chat with her about random crap all the time. And finally, Star Trek came up, and she's like, I worked on Trek, right? I was like, what? I was like, oh, yeah, my previous life. Yes, I worked on this. I did this. And then she would tell me about how she used to, correct me if I'm wrong, you used to play Uhura with all the neighborhood kids.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Star Trek. I was always like, Uhura. Uhura. Yeah.
Strong
the one getting rescued all the time. Yeah.
Constantly getting rescued. Yeah.
But then I was planning a vacation, and I said, I'm going to go to the 50th anniversary Star Trek convention in Vegas. This was 2016. And she said, oh, that's my Madison. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Accurate.
And, I wouldn't mind. She was trying to be subtle, because she wanted to go the whole time. She's like, I wouldn't mind going. If that's something you wanted to do. And so we ended up going together, and my dad was there too. And so we had a great time. That was our first year. And the Rio was packed to the gills, and we had to stay at the Palms. It was so crowded. And we said, well, it's 50th anniversary. We have to wear something. I said, okay, what do you want to wear? She's like, let's do TOS, because it's 50th anniversary of TOS. Let's do TOS. And so I found, still one of my favorites, I found my green wrap that we were fortunate at the time. We had a seamstress downstairs in the costume shop. And so she made everything look really nice. And Madison had her blue science medical outfit on. And so we just did our thing there, and we didn't know what we were doing. Like we were just, and most of the time we were in civilian anyway. So the days that we did do that, we were coming up to people and going, how did you do this? How did you do that? It was fun. And it was just an eye-opening experience. And as we're sitting in the Vegas airport after this week, she looks at me and she's like, I wouldn't mind going back again. I wouldn't mind. And I was like, oh my God, me too. Let's go back again. Yeah.
Because we'd originally thought this would be a one-time thing, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do it. And that's why we thought, well, if we're going to do it, we should do cosplay, because we were meeting people who were going to be dressed, and we were talking to them online and making friends. So we thought, well, let's join in on this fun. And we had no idea what we were doing. We bought some stuff online. We had it tailored so it fit right. And that's really how it started, with 2 purchased costumes. And then it just exploded from there.
Right.
Well, and then we started finding things that were together. We found the dress whites from Insurrection. We found, the black and gray. Because I'm a big fan of my vested outfits, and she likes her, her one pieces and things like that. So the jumpsuits, yes. And so I found a Picard jacket. We actually had a Picard jacket made by the seamstress that we both know, and she had Crusher made. So because she's still to this day the best Crusher I've ever seen. And so we found the motion picture outfit there in the middle. Like, that's one of my favorites. So that was pre-COVID Tyler. So that was. That outfit no longer works for post-COVID Tyler. So there will be new outfits made for post-COVID Tyler.
Okay.
Darn it, because I threw in my picture of the TOS. I'm like, we can wear this at our 60th, right?
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So this Discovery uniform that I'm wearing with Tyler.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, the story behind this one is that had not been seen on screen. It was
Oh,
in one of
really?
the
Wow.
first couple of episodes of Discovery. We saw Burnham in a blue short sleeve jumpsuit. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a medical version. There's got to be. So I was quickly doing some sketches, trying to figure out what fabric I was going to make this out of. And I was seeing people were buying these black boots, sort of disco boots from a seller on eBay. So I reached out to them and I said, hey, can you make these in gray? I sent them some color samples and they made the boots for me in gray. And then I had little deltas printed because remember they had deltas on the original Discovery boots. So I put those on there and I finally got this done. And then it ended up on an episode, several episodes, but I think it was the Harry Mudd episode where you saw someone in the short sleeved medical. But when I created that, we had never seen it. That was just something I randomly wanted and thought would be sort of different. So
maybe Gersha Phillips saw you and was inspired.
I definitely sent her photos of it.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Back on the tweeter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when Tweeter was a thing. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Send her photos of that. So yeah.
Oh my God, you're Troy there on the right.
I know, the best Troy. I mean, she's my favorite, and
thank
so
you.
seeing you, you pull it off so well. I love your Troy.
You are so kind. That one was a random one that I thought, you know what? I've always loved Deanna and I love the burgundy. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I had that one made, and most of my stuff I has been built custom for me. And that was one. The trickiest part of all things, boots that matched, that it looked like a seamless color. That's the trickiest part of doing that one. So, and it's actually one of the really comfortable ones, surprisingly.
Yes. So I ordered some and I lucked out. It was the exact color. I wish it was a little bit longer because my pant leg comes up. And so sometimes when I'm sitting, the boot pops out. But yeah, I know what you mean by the color because it's just so specific. Yeah.
Exactly. And the trick with things like this, again, this is just for me. I will try to match colors as closely as I can, but knowing what a lot of these costumes were originally made from, they weren't terribly comfortable, they weren't forgiving, and they would get very hot. And so I would shop fabrics more for comfort. If I could get really good color matches, but if I could make it out of like a pointe knit, which had a bit more stretch and a bit more cotton to it, so it would breathe and you wouldn't get as hot, I would make things so they would be comfortable.
That surprises me, Madison, because your cosplay always looks so screen accurate. So to hear that it's of completely different materials, it blows my mind, quite frankly. I know some of the most amazing photographs that we've seen here from before everyone used to go to eBay and get all the uniforms from Cosmark or the other sellers online that we do now. Yours always seem just that little bit more elevated. They're so screen accurate, and you can tell they are either custom commissions or at least tailored, not just like off the rack. And I think it makes such a massive difference. Tyler, that Monster Maroon that you've got, it's my number one cosplay. It's something that I've said I would never buy a cheap Monster Maroon. If I was going to get one, I would spend the money and get a good one. That one's fantastic.
We were at a bar somewhere and half in the bag, and I was saying I really want that outfit, and M's like, just do it already, but don't do it on the cheap. You have to buy that one as close as you possibly can. And so I did. I found this woman on Etsy. She's gone now, but she used to take care of all of the outfits at the Experience in Vegas.
Wow.
She used to. So she was like, she was telling me on the phone because I was giving her my measurements on the phone, and she's like, "Oh yes, I worked on the Generations outfit. I was literally scraping the dirt off of Kirk's vest from Generations. Like they just threw it into a costume box and it was done." And so she had all of the stuff, and she's like, "Anovos, they stole all of my stuff." you know, may they, you know, rest in pieces. But yeah,
Yes.
still waiting on items, by the way.
Yeah,
But
I'm still
Oh,
waiting
right.
for my Voyager
Yeah.
undershirt from
Yeah.
them. Paid
Christos,
for.
Christos is typing a message as we
oh
speak.
yeah,
He's
that's
hopefully
here it
hit
comes.
off by them.
But I do want to give oh gosh, what did William say? Yeah, the great
Yeah.
will be
So William
the days
says,
yeah.
yeah, my greatest convention memories will always be the days I photographed these two through their 6-7 costume changes per day. What was that? The 50th, or was that a different one?
That
was-
we started at the second one, and we would be on the phone going, okay, what do you want to wear in the morning? What do you wear in the afternoon? What do you wear in the early evening? And then what do you want to wear out for drinks? So it was usually 3 to 4 outfits a day, every day.
I love
yeah.
that planning. That's amazing.
Kelvin, I was thinking about, you were talking about the screen accuracy of some of mine. The battle jacket, I call it the Battle Beverly jacket from Picard, the blue with the beige collar. Yeah, there it is. One of the, talk about screen accurate, that was one. And I have to thank the fantastic Maria Kravchuk, because she got photos of the costume from Picard on the cruise and sent them to me. I mean, amazing photos she got for me. And this jacket, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I used my Hollywood connections, and I found out where they had embossed the jacket, because it's embossed micro suede. And mine is actually made from the same pressing plates that they used on Picard. So it's hard to get much more accurate than using the exact plates that they used to make that.
So it sounds like you really enjoy the challenge of, and the search and the research, and that is so exciting.
Well, like at the because you've got up now the photo of Mirror Crusher.
Oh.
There was one photo when I created that costume. J.K. Woodward had released one photo of the comics that he was doing, and it was a picture pretty similar to that. And I said, I'm doing that. And I was sending him photos while I was working on it. And he was saying, I've never seen anyone else do this. There's no others exist. And so I think I was the first one that did that. And then I became his reference model for the comics. He would use photos of me in Mirror Crusher. So if you have some of the comics, they're actually references from photographs of me.
Wow. That's amazing.
That photo is so hot. Like, that was at the planetarium, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Frank Jenks took that.
Frank took that. McCoy.
McCoy.
Yeah. I always, when I see that outfit now, I just think of the instead of the Hippocratic Oath, it's the Hippocratic Oath.
Right.
And it's first, do great harm.
Do great harm. Yeah. Yeah. That one is actually, the body of it is made out of scuba knit. So it's pretty stretchy, but not super, super thick. And then it's vegan leather on the lab coat, and fluting that. That one was a lot of work. Also.
I think of all of the Mirror Universe cosplay that I've seen, I'm always surprised how much love Mirror TNG gets from the fans cosplaying it, considering it's never been on screen.
Right.
And it's just from the comic series. I mean, I've done it on the cruise. Amy, you've done it. We've got it here. So, yeah, JK's comic series made such a big impact.
Yes.
And such a nice guy, too. If you ever get to meet him at a convention.
He's good, dude. Yeah, very good dude.
Yeah, he was on a cruise that I was on, and so that's when I got to know him.
Right.
As you do on a cruise. So now you, of course, have other fandoms. So Madison, tell me about your love of Star Wars.
Okay. Star Wars, being of a certain age, Leia was pretty much one of my first princesses in my life. I had Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, and then Princess Leia. Those were some of my first princesses. And I had done Star Trek for years. And there was the Star Wars groups, the Rebel Legion and the 501st. And they do a lot of charity work. And
They do.
as much as Star Trek is loved, they don't get invited to as many events to do charitable things.
No, we don't.
And it's a real shame because there's such
Interesting.
amazing costumes for it. So I started doing Star Wars specifically for the charitable events. And it's an entirely different animal from Star Trek, especially if you're doing Legion approval stuff. Everything has to look like it walked off the screen. So it's a very different animal, but I love my Star Wars. I love them. I love them.
General Leia.
Oh yeah, and Brea. There's Queen Brea. Yeah, that's my latest one. That's the latest one. And surprisingly, people ask about, because I do Holdo, and people think it's really comfortable, but it's about 10 yards of fabric, sort of like micro pleated, you're carrying across your shoulders.
Heavy.
So it's actually very heavy. So, and you have to wear this under thing, or else it all like pulls forward or pulls back and will decapitate you. So, not one of the most comfortable, but that purple looks really great when I wear that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about the Rebel Legion and the 501st is that they really are. I mean, I'm not a member. M is, but from everything that she's told me, they're very strict about this stuff.
Yeah.
So is that like sanctioned by the Star Wars property? Like, and why do you think Star Trek doesn't have that ultra screen accurate group of cosplayers?
It is sanctioned through Disney and Lucasfilm, and we have to follow a very specific guidelines for when we produce the costumes and get them approved. And then there's very specific guidelines that we have to follow as far as when we're posing with people, how we can be photographed, what we can be photographed in front of. It's very specific and strict for a reason, because it's protecting Disney's investment. And so I don't have a big issue with it. It just makes you work a little bit harder. And some people, I should say, think that the Rebel Legion and the 501st have a bit of an attitude or an elitist attitude. It's not that. It's just everyone is welcome. You just have to be willing to jump through all the hoops. As far as why they don't have the same connection, I think because people look at Star Wars as science fantasy, and they look at Trek as science fiction, and there's somehow something about the fantasy aspect tends to, I think, appeal more to what they consider as their fan base. Children. We all know Star Wars when it came out. George Lucas has even said this was made for kids. So I think because they can play more to children. I mean, I have seen little kids run up and hug Darth Vader. It's the funniest thing. And I think the difference between science fiction and science fantasy might be why Trek doesn't get invited as much to events.
The other issue is that Paramount and CBS and Roddenberry and all of these other subsidiaries, they're not under one banner like Lucasfilm is. And so the rights and the patents and everything else are so complicated. So that's another part of it too, because Paramount is, bought and sold every couple of years. So it's like, who owns it? We really don't know.
Right. I hadn't even thought of that, and I'm sure that's a major part of it. You're absolutely right, I bet.
Because Roddenberry used to sell the best props, and now I think Rod sold all of the rights to CBS. So my Monster Maroon badge came from Roddenberry. It's like the best one I've ever. No offense to the Fansets one, which is fabulous, but it's like that's the best one I've ever seen. Like, and you can't get it anymore. Like sometimes you can get them at a booth at Creation for like $5, a couple $100, but they used to sell them for like 50, I think. Where's your? Oh, we got to talk about your Caprica.
Oh, the Caprica 6, the Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of it, Amy.
Yeah, I've got. There
it is. Yeah.
That.
God, she's hot too.
I know. I wanted to do this, and then here we have Madison doing it. I freaking love it.
I encourage you to do, especially because I think I was in my late 40s, maybe 50, when I did that photograph. So I encourage cosplayers, once you're over 20, they think we don't do it. We still do it. Amy, you absolutely have to do it. The Caprica 6 is actually what started me down my real cosplay interest, and it was Tyler's fault.
Oh,
I did. I bought her that dress. That's an Anovos, rest in pieces. They made BSG stuff, and so I got that for I believe it's for her birthday. I got her that one, and I believe I got the bracelet too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this, I mean, you will be so hot in this, you have to do this. Like, you must do this. And she, I mean, really, she rocked it. I mean, and we actually went to a convention here in my now town that I live in, Warrensburg, and they did a little convention here, and Trisha Helfer was here, Caprica 6, and I came as first contact because Neil McDonough was here. And Trisha was here, and she came right up to her, and Trisha got up out of her chair, and she's like, "Damn, that looks good."
She was
very complimentary.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's a moment when the actors come to find you to have a photograph with you because they've heard about you. I think that's a moment that's happened to us a couple of times over the years as well, and they're always really good stories to tell.
Well, that's one of the things that was really fun about the old Twitter days, because I used to get comments from Gates McFadden, from Jerry Ryan about stuff that I was wearing and complimenting me or saying how great it looked. And the strangest thing, there was a site where you could buy photographs of celebrities, and one of them was it said it was a photograph of Gates McFadden, but it's actually a photograph of me in one of my costumes.
The peak. That was the peak.
I'm like, it's a sweet compliment. I don't know that I really look all that much like Gates McFadden. I think she's beautiful. I'll take the compliment. But I'm like, to me, that's sort of, when you end up getting confused for someone and your photographs are being sold as them.
Wow.
I paid a lot of money for that photo too. I never got it.
I will sign, but no personalization.
No. She doesn't personalize, and she doesn't make eye contact. It's really, it's just, it's just not a great experience. But
wow,
that's a fun. I love the hug one. That was when STLV was still licensed, and so that was on the transporter pad. So I love when William does the black and white ones.
That one, yeah.
William got that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one. Yeah,
but. And then the really, and nowadays, like in the most recent ones, I go more for comfort, because I'm always, my feet are they hurt more than they used to. And so now, so the disco workout ones, I mean, we jumped for joy when we found those shoes.
Right.
That was the trickiest thing to find because they were discontinued, and then you had to scour all the secondary markets.
Yep.
So anytime we would find a pair in our size, we would grab them to have backup pairs.
Yep.
In case. And the one of me and my scant, that's my new thing now. Scants are so comfortable, whether it's TOS, TNG, Into Darkness, anytime.
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. Anytime a scant, so comfortable.
You're preaching to the converted.
Yeah. They show off all the best assets, let me tell you. That's
you guys over there, your men in scans. I'm like, they're fantastic. We need more men in scans.
We're gonna get the new Klingon in Starfleet Academy. He was a scant in the uniforms. So I think
what do Klingon knees look like? I guess we'll find out.
double jointed, baby. Double jointed,
baby.
Well, we have a question from Christos who's asked, where would one start if they wanted an accurate Beverly Med coat? Asking for a friend.
Friends, yeah.
Yes, friend.
That fabric, because when you look at it on the screen, you can't tell how much texture and multiple colors are in that. In the lab coat. And so that was another one that I had to search for. Where to start? Finding the fabric that will give you some texture and almost like a raw silk. So you've got some nubs and some texture to it. That's the best place to start for that is, like I said, I go for comfort, color match, and if I can do texture matching, it gives you the closest effects to it. So, and we've lost so many great online
outlets for that stuff. Yeah,
for fabric. They've been consolidated into like one website now, and they're so hard to find the good fabrics. The trick for that is also in the back of the jacket, it has that little strap like so many real lab coats do to sort of cinch it in just a little bit and give it a little bit of shaping. And to have a cosplay with pockets, everyone should cosplay Crusher just so you have pockets.
Pockets, yeah. The other fun one that we've been able to do is we've been able to do these fun mashups. If you go back one, maybe two, there's the one of the campfire.
That was a good one, yeah.
That was the 30th anniversary. Yeah, 30th anniversary of the Final Frontier, and so this was all my idea. M was nonplussed by it, and so she said, "Can I please do can I do Crusher and McCoy?" And I was like, "Of course, Kirk would take Crusher into the woods. Of course he would. Like that's." And so we did, yeah. So I found this little fake fire, and I got these Boston baked beans, and we had our little cups, and so we were at Masquerade Bar in our little camping outfits, and so that was so fun, and it made very little sense, but who cares? Like it was a nice celebration.
And we met some great new people because they saw us there, and we had been posting, come by, say hi, get some free candy. You offer people free candy and they're going to show up.
Yeah.
And again, to show you my ridiculousness, Kelvin, I had that jacket made too.
Wow.
I could not find one that fit correctly, or it didn't have the Sherpa lining. So I'm like, oh, just make it. It's not that difficult. Just make it. It'll look
just
bad.
make it. Yeah.
Wow. Well, hope that you are watching this on YouTube, because the costumes and the pictures that we've been going through are absolutely amazing. Let's bring in, sorry. This is what happens when I touch things. Let's bring in Kristin and Derek and see which of was their favorite outfits.
Yeah. Derek, has it given you any ideas of anything new to make there?
I have so many ideas. It's getting them across the finish line that's the problem. I have many grand plans for lots of things, and that's about as far as they get sometimes.
Brilliant. And what were your favorites there, Kristin?
Oh, that's hard to pick. That is very, very hard to pick. I do appreciate though, as a woman who runs hot, that you took the time to find something you're going to be comfortable with all day long. I don't think the Menzies realize that when a hot flash hits, what it feels like, and is not to be messed with. And if you are in the wrong fabric, it's like, I'm just going home at this point. I'm done.
Right.
Everything's bad. So I think that's really amazing that you were able to find a fabric that worked for you, but didn't take away from the authenticity of the look. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And also, cosplay is for all ages. I mean, look at Cassandra Peterson. She's still cosplaying as Elvira at what, 73, 74?
She's never looked better. Never looked better.
I know. So to think that after your 20s it ends, please.
No.
It just gets better. So
well, when you're older, you have adult money to put into stuff is also part of it.
Very true.
And very much the lack of caring.
Yes.
Yeah, think of the difference between Halloween outfits when you was a child to Halloween outfits as adults. Yeah, exactly. We spend our money on these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go for the real leather. That's fine. Yeah, I can do that.
Sure. Yeah.
For a one-off, never to be seen again.
Right.
Brilliant. Oh, well, Madison, Tyler, thank you so much for going through all of those photos, telling your story, inspiring, hopefully, people who are listening. We've got the 60th around the corner. There's going to be a lot of conventions next year. So people have got to get their thinking caps on of what they're going to be wearing. And hopefully you gave some great ideas to people. So thanks for coming to join us.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I missed you guys. It was so wonderful seeing you.
Lovely to see you. Right, guys, we'll see you a little later in the show, but I think we're going to take a very short break now. Thank you.
Calling all audiophiles and Trekkies. Prepare to boldly go where no podcast listener has gone before with the diverse soundscapes of BQN. We're not just a network, we're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Charting the Star Trek cosmos, we have all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy Class, Engage. Stephen and Stefan pilots this deep space mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek The Next Generation. Infinite Diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiances lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into the rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the T-Bab? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube, as well as a podcast, our Trexperts quiz. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the Viewscreen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. Beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Zalogis. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe. In Transformational Journeys, Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. To unlock deeper levels of engagement, try our patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. And check out our back catalog of It's Green, a verdant cornucopia of topics offering diverse and engaging conversations, and Amy's Math Moments. Discover the subtle and not so subtle mathematical wonders woven into the fabric of Star Trek. You can stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following at BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
We are back. What a great show so far today, Amy. I really enjoyed that last session.
I know. I'm so glad to be exploring cosplay a week. I mean, it's just we've done cosplay before, and it's just so exciting to see how people interpret and, dress up.
The variety of whether people go and make something themselves, or whether they have it custom made, or whether they buy it off the rack from stores, and all of the fun that goes with it. I think it was actually Giraffe, one of our previous guests on Cosplay Week, said there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Just get involved and see your look evolve every time you do it. So it's one of those things people shouldn't be intimidated about. Just grab something, have a go, and join in. I'm just looking out of the window. I'm quite distracted. We're having a very beautiful sunset here in Manchester today. The sky is pink. It is really, really beautiful. Anyway, I will avoid my gaze from the Mutara Nebula and then focus on the task at hand. Let's bring in our final guest of the show today. Let's bring back Derek and say hi. Hi, Derek.
Hello.
Thank you so much for agreeing to join us on the Viewscreen today. I was really happy to meet you this year at STLV after us chatting online on Instagram. And yeah, before we actually start talking about the tailoring aspect, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're far from a plain simple tailor. Move over, Derek. There's a new guy in town.
Yes, well, I was a singer and an actor for a long time. I've recently retired from that now that my knees click when I wake in the morning. I need to ensure that I have health insurance, so I've put that aside. But I've used a lot of those skills kind of in my maker journey. I was always very artistic alongside my singing and acting, and side gigged as a retouching artist and computer graphics and just a general computer nerd. So I found that that's really lent my skill set to cosplaying, and it really transitioned really easily into that.
So obviously you came to STLV this year. It was your first time, wasn't it?
First convention ever.
Yeah, so that was the next question. Had you done other conventions before STLV? So no,
I had never. I think I went to one when I was maybe in middle school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was like $100. And I said, I'm in middle school, I can't pay that. They turned me away. So I was very excited to go to my first one this year.
So you jumped straight into the deep end of the world's most famous Star Trek event. What were your impressions? What did you think of it?
Well, yeah, if you're gonna go hard or go home, right? You gotta do it if you're gonna do it. I had a lot of fun. I'd really enjoyed meeting a lot of people that I had spoken to online over the years, and they'd be, "Are you that Making It So guy? Are you the? Oh, I saw you make that online. I saw you that." I think that was the most fun for me, is to meet all of the people that I had been talking to online all in one spot.
And what was the reactions of people to your cosplay? Did people realize that you'd tailored them yourself, or did they assume that you bought it?
I think a little bit of both. I think some people may have seen me online making them, and they were like, "Oh, it looks good in person," and others like, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "My sewing machine."
Brilliant. Okay, well, I'm going to share some slides that you've put together for us, Derek, just to go through. I'm quite fascinated by the process of tailoring cosplay, because it is quite frankly something I've always wanted to do, but never been confident enough or patient enough to actually take those steps and, get the sewing machine out and give it a go. So you have famously put together your TNG season 1 and 2 teal and gold. You're wearing the teal one now. So take us through some of these slides and tell us what we're looking at here. So is this how the process starts?
Yeah, first, you make a pattern. Actually, what I did before this is I got the pattern from Obsessive Costuming Dude, if we've all heard of him.
I know him, yeah.
He makes great patterns. And then I traced it in my computer and kind of remade it to my dimensions. And then went off to Staples and printed it out on big paper and cut it out. And then some people will put weights on it and cut it right around the pattern. I prefer to do a trace around. I think it gets more accurate.
You went and got the digital templates of these and then printed them out to scale for cutting. Do people sometimes hand draw them onto like little templates like this? What are the different options there?
Usually people will draft them on paper first and then cut them out. There is a new technique that some people are using. You can get really cheap LCD projectors now that are 1080p, and I've tried it. I still need to work it out, but it's a little bit like a holodeck. You just shine your pattern down onto the fabric and then trace it out that way, which I've been experimenting with, which saves a lot of paper cuts.
I've known people use that technique to do things like wall murals. So a good friend of mine, she drew the London Tube map on her wall by projecting it on there and then drawing over it. So that's a really interesting way of doing clothes. Amy?
Teachers have been using that as well to project, different stuff on the board. So nice.
It's very useful.
Used in cosplay as well.
Yeah, there's a free website called patternprojector.com where it will calibrate it to scale so that you get the right dimensions and all that, and you can upload any PDF you've got and it will calibrate it just for you. It's really nice.
Okay, so we've got our cutouts, we've got our pieces you draw around onto your fabric. How do you find sourcing your fabric, considering what Madison was just saying before the break?
Well, it can be difficult, especially for color matches. But for these specifically, there's an Etsy seller, Starbase Logistics, that has color matched all of the spandex and kind of recreated the same weave also. So it's a very screen accurate color. And there are a bunch of trading cards also that you can get that have little swatches of the actual fabric used on the, and I went down a deep rabbit hole one day and spent far too much money. And now I have every swatch out there in a closet somewhere.
I think I've seen those.
Yeah, it's a lot of just going to the fabric store and walking up and down the aisles. Thankfully, I live in New York City, which has a lot of big, massive fabric stores that you can kind of dig through.
Yeah, all those theater guys are going to need the costumes making, so you're in the right area.
Yep.
Brilliant. So and is this like chalk or pen?
This is chalk. There you can either use tailor's chalk, which just wipes away, or if it's a lighter fabric, sometimes I like to use disappearing ink. It's just, you spray a little water on it and it disappears.
Right. Okay. So what's next? You go and you cut out, and then so you lay it down. What are these stripes that we're looking at here on the right hand side?
That is this piping right here.
Oh, right.
You have to make your little piping and sew it in. That's probably one of the fiddliest bits, I think, of making these jumpsuits, at least. Not really getting the piping in, but getting the piping to match on the corners so that they're not offset. It takes a lot of hand sewing and then ripping your seams out about 15 times until you get it exactly the way you want it.
And I don't think we've got a picture here, but do you have like a tailor's dummy, what you would do that on to line up the shoulders to see where the stripe would come down, or is it a matter of putting it on yourself and marking it up?
Just me. Yep. I'm not the best at actual tailoring, like after it's been stitched, to like figure out the fit. So I just make 16, 17 versions of things until I get it the way I like, which my friends are happy to wear in instead of me. So
brilliant.
It's a long process for me, at least.
So then this is the putting the piping to the pants and the shoulders then. So it's interesting that you've done the season 1 to uniform. If this is a particularly fiddly part of the process, maybe that would lean some people more into going to the season 3 jumpsuits. Yeah,
this is a little bit fiddlier, I think, with the piping bit. If I did a season 3 and on, I would probably want the back zip version, and then you have to deal with like the collar in the back, I'd never done zippers before, like truly like this big long zipper. So I said, I'll pick my battles for this first time.
There are complications that come with cosplaying the rear zipped season 3 jumpsuit.
Yes.
Especially if you have a very weak bladder and a long drinking session ahead of you.
Exactly.
I think it was either Christos or someone else in our group. I think they lost a comm badge down the toilet when they were trying to take it out to have a wee. That's another story.
That's funny.
Okay, so we are getting to the point where you have a bit of an assembled job here. So what's going on in these final two pictures here?
Yeah, after you put the two front side pieces together, it's all one. You know, it's a jumpsuit. So you do the top, and then you attach the legs, and then you sew them together. And the other fiddly bit is this zipper, which the second time I did it, I did a little bit better. But it is a lot of like lining up this thing here, lining up this thing here, and lining up that, and then hoping that when you start at one end and get to the other, it all matches the way you hoped.
I believe that was one of Roddenberry's mandates early on, that all zippers must be invisible. You must never be able to know there's a zipper. Whereas if you look at Starfleet Academy uniforms now, their zips are so prominent to the point where they've made it a delta on the zip, so it's permanently visible. So it really must be quite challenging to find the right type of zip and the clasp so it hides beneath the fabric.
Yeah, I also know that Gersha for Discovery, when they flew or went off into the future, that she didn't want any top stitching. So like in Discovery, there's a lot of top stitching viewable, and so she wanted that all to be disappeared and invisible. So if you look at all the costumes for the later seasons, it's all kind of like fused and hidden stitches. So you never see any top stitching.
Interesting. Okay, so we then have some pictures here from your gold TNG one as well. I imagine very similar process, but here you started experimenting with the shoulder pads, I believe. Is that what the foam is?
Yes, they snap right in, which is really nice. So I only had to make one pair, and I can use them in as many costumes as I make. This is actually the season one and two are a little easier to make. The season 3 and on have some more like batting and some more like structure to it. There's like a couple more layers. So I chose the easy way out again for my first time out. But that's my new sewing machine. I spent way too much money on it, and it only does one stitch. But it does it really well.
I've never experimented with shoulder pads in any of my cosplaying. I think everyone I know who has always says they would never go back because it makes such a difference to the overall silhouette of the piece.
Yeah, it really does. And especially with this spandex fabric, it kind of tends to bunch a little bit at the shoulders. And if you put that shoulder pad, it kind of stretches it out and makes it a cleaner line.
It does bunch though. Wow, I'm going to give that a go. Okay, so we've got some more cutouts here. And the
gold version.
Again. And
there's the lineup. That's the tricky bit, and that was the trickiest bit, is getting those. And if you're adding the piping before you put it together and you kind of go off, then they're not the same width when you get to the end, and then you have to judge that as well. There's just a lot of little fiddly bits on this one.
So is there a lot of unpicking and putting it back together and trying again?
A lot of unpicking.
Wow.
Less than I would normally admit, or more than I would normally admit, but and then
over on the right is this is the sleeves, I take it.
Yep, that's the sleeve, and you do the same thing on the cuff. It's just a blind hem, invisible hem. Always feels like magic when you hem it up and don't see anything on the outside.
One of the key differences, I think, between a properly tailored version of these jumpsuits, and I remember saying this to Chris 1701D last season, is that the cuffs are supposed to be tight to the wrist. And when you buy the eBay versions, which are a fantastic value and also really good quality, one of the disappointing things are the cuffs are quite baggy, the sleeves. I know some people have been and got them privately tailored and it works, but it's one of the things I spot straight away of that's a professional version, is that the cuff is the correct. And I noticed that on yours straight away, Derek.
Thanks. Yeah, it's definitely a fit thing, and for me, it's not like buying them for me it kind of ruins the fun for me. The making is the fun for me because I really like creating it myself.
Mm.
And then here's your final
It
product
is.
of your
There it is,
TVG.
stirrups and all.
Brilliant. So, do you have a particular favorite out of your gold and your teal one?
I think the blue, just because I
Yeah.
have blue eyes. Goes with my
Accentuates
coloring
my
eyes.
Yes, exactly.
So you mentioned earlier that you have a very long to-do list of next phases. Are you working on anything at the moment?
Well, I did go fabric shopping for a Wesley Crusher red, yellow, blue sweater. So
Wow.
I think I wanted to make one of those for fall. I probably won't do like the bunching around the waist, but I think that would be a nice fall project. I do have the Strange New Worlds boots. I just need to make a uniform to go with the boots. But I think those are the next two things that I'll be working on, and some more 3D printing. Like I 3D printed this, and
Yeah,
I got some. There are a bunch of makers on Facebook that are really good resources, and will make electronics to go inside of things if you want to 3D print it yourself, or they'll do the whole thing for you. But I bought a kit for a Strange New Worlds phaser, so I can pew, pew, pew,
brilliant.
make it light up and make sounds.
Got a couple of videos here of your 3D printing, which we can just play over the top of us here.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're looking here at a Voyager com badge. So
It is.
how does this work?
Back in the day, roddenberry.com used to sell com badges made from the original molds. So I have some of those, and I 3D scanned it and then recreated it in the computer and traced it basically in 3D. And then I have a resin printer, and I've been printing them out and making them for my friends and for my little com badge here.
Excellent. And then so you print them, and then you've got the process of adding the color. So I'm just going to play this. Yeah, when the video's playing there, we can't hear what you were saying. So is just for ventilation? So you don't
just for ventilation. I live in a tiny New York City apartment, so it's all got to happen outside. But those Facebook groups are really helpful. I asked what colors they used, and everyone popped in that, oh, they use this exact spray paint and this exact spray paint. And a lot of the prop makers from the shows back in the day are part of these Facebook groups, and you'll ask a question and they'll say, oh yeah, we just used a Sharpie. Just use a Sharpie.
Wow.
So there's a community within a community here of all
Exactly.
of the makers who get together. And then finally, we've just got the final product.
There it is. 2 pieces. That was the very first one I made. That was on a filament printer, actually. The resin printers are higher detail, but if you use a filament printer, you have to sand it for 16 hours of sanding to get a filament printer to look like a resin print.
Well, it meets my #1 criteria of a com badge of no shiny com badges. I find them repulsive when I see them.
They drive me equally crazy.
But they charge a fortune for them, and people buy them. Anyway, brilliant. So I'm curious, Derek. Obviously, you said the process of making is the hobby aspect. It's the part you enjoy. You make it for yourself and your friends. Have you ever considered going down the kind of the commercial aspect and taking commissions and making this some money out of this?
I haven't really, mostly because it does take me 19 tries to get the fit right for me. And I can't imagine how many tries it would take for somebody else. But I do know that some people have used my research on the my website blog. I've got some resources that people can download and use for like the delta patterns on the Strange New Worlds uniforms. A lot of people have reached out and asked questions about that and how those are put together.
Brilliant.
So it's more of a the acquisition of wealth is not the driving force in my life.
Well said. Well said. Brilliant. Okay, well, let's bring in Kristin and Tyler and Madison as well, see if they've got anything to add there. Kristin, what did you think of the process? I'm fascinated by all of this, the making of uniforms, because I don't know where to start. What do you think?
I am the same way. I wish I had a skill to sew, but I don't. So every time I see somebody who can take an idea from concept to final creation, it just blows my mind every single time. Like, Derek, that is just so much talent. So applause out to you. That's phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
I have to compliment you on pursuing that season 1 and 2 jumpsuit, because it was just so, from my experience of watching TNG for so many years, like, it's just so unforgiving because it's so tight. I mean, to the point that, you know, Sir Patrick had to get, you know, an order from his chiropractor that we had to change the outfits, or otherwise I would have permanent damage. But
It does pull down on your
yeah.
shoulders quite a bit. But
yeah, so it all, I mean, major props to you, man. I mean, so it takes a very secure person to wear that outfit. So props.
They're absolutely fantastic. As a designer and someone who understands sewing and construction, you're really throwing yourself in the deep end, because there's some building the uniforms, getting everything to line up, putting in a hidden zipper is one of the toughest things to do, and I've had to teach people how to do it, is really difficult. And also altering something is much more difficult than building it from scratch. So I understand very much where you're coming from, because a lot of times people will reach out and will say, how do I make this better? I bought this and such and such. I'm like, shoulder pads and stirrups. You know, if you can at least get shoulder pads and stirrups, it makes all the difference.
fill it out and stretch it out.
Exactly. Make it tight. You'll just stretch it out and it'll look really tight. That's, you know, that's your best. But you really do a beautiful work.
Oh, thank you.
Nobody wants a baggy jumpsuit.
No.
Brilliant.
Well, I would like to ask everyone here, will you be at next year's STLV?
Oh, let's go around. Let's start with you, Derek. Are you going back for the 60th?
Yeah, I think so. Probably not the whole thing. I went Tuesday to Monday. I'll do a little bit shorter this year, but definitely.
Brilliant. Tyler?
Well, it depends on if the offer is right. You know, I have a full schedule. I have to promote Avengers next year. You know, and then I have to go and see Mr. Dorman in England. But I mean, yes, of course. I mean, yes, I will be there. So that's and we're working on clients to figure out who we're going to bring for the 60th and things like that. So for Cool Waters Productions, but oh yeah, I will be there either as a fan or as a worker bee. So somehow, some way.
Brilliant. And what about yourself, Madison?
It's always a great time. It's always a great time. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it to people. You get to see your international Star Trek family, you know, in person. So absolutely, it's a great time.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
And Kristin, we believe you're cruise specific, aren't you? For your choice of conventions these days, you like to travel around America without going into it.
Yes, I will not be stepping foot on American soil until TBD. So no, I will be experiencing it through the photos and everything of people I love, but I will not be taking the risk of entering the country.
Yes.
Indeed.
Sensible.
And Amy, you're there by default, Amy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. So everyone come to Las Vegas. Always.
Brilliant. Well, thanks again, Derek, for taking us through your craft, because it really is such a skill that we all applaud. But while we've got everyone here on screen, before we let you all go and enjoy the rest of your day, if we could just do a little bit of a roundup of self-promotion of where people can find you online. So, Derek, if people want to come and see your work, what are some of your social media handles? How do people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Making It So with dots between each of those words because someone else had it already, and at makingitso.com. I've got a blog that has a lot of resources about, especially Strange New Worlds uniforms.
Brilliant. Thanks again for joining us today, Derek.
Thanks for having me.
And Tyler, how about you?
At Pat Stew. My wife Sunny tends to run that sort of thing now. I tend to do the triple takes and whatnot. But no, you can find me at RT Harbiger on the Instagram and on the Bluesky. I'm on the Bluesky. So do come. I will answer any questions that I possibly can, and when I cannot, I will refer them to my expert.
Brilliant. Thanks again for coming back. It's always a joy to have you on.
Thank you.
And Madison, where can people find you online?
I can be found at Lady Spencer Ingle on Bluesky and Instagram.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
please
Well,
stop by and say hi. And if you have any questions about anything that I make or produce or how I did it, I'm very happy. I do not gatekeep this information. I love sharing it.
Gates keep.
Yeah.
That's the word. That's always the word of the day with Star Trek, isn't it? Gatekeep.
Brilliant. Thanks, Madison. See
Thank
you.
you.
Love you guys.
And Kristin, how about you?
I am on Instagram at kstrats and most active over on Reddit at user Garrick's Fan Club.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week.
And Amy, wow, what a great show. Let's start with saying where people can get you online.
Well, you can find me at BQN Podcasts. That would be the Instagram and the Bluesky. We have a fabulous Facebook group called the BQN Collective, and our Discord server. That's really my favorite place. So find us there. We've got the links in the show notes. And Kelvin, where can people find you?
Well, I can be found in the BQN Collective Facebook group as well, where I love seeing everyone's posts. I love liking and commenting on all of those. But if you want to come and chat with me directly, I'm on most of the socials at Kelvin's Timeline. So come and find me there.
Yes. Oh, yes. It's been so good. But what and who do we have on for next week?
Right. Are you ready for this? Okay. This has been a long time coming. Next week, it's our creative writing week, and we have finally convinced James to come onto the view screen after 2 years of begging him. I think actually it was you who persuaded him, Amy. We were sat around the Rio drinking very expensive cocktails, and we were a little heat exhausted, and he just gave in to the pressure. So James is coming to talk about Beta Canon, the novels, and we are also joined with everyone's favorite. Anjum Malik is coming, James's good colleague from university, and also our friend from Sitges. Anjum's going to be coming to talk about script writing and teleplay. So we've got the novels and screenplay covered all in one episode. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will say as well, just a special shout out, we have our time change. The clocks go back in the UK next Sunday. So for us here in the UK, we will be back at 4 p.m, not 5 p.m. next week. However, for the rest of the world, yours don't change for a couple of weeks' time yet, I believe.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I am so excited. Enough talking to James, and we finally did get him on. You're right. And I'm like, we need someone to talk about Beta Canon. And James reads all those books. Well, you do too, but yeah.
Oh, he's
always got his book
about the
with
novels. I think the reason he doesn't come on is that he very much enjoys this break from me for the 90 minutes that I'm doing this, and he's sat downstairs. So he loses his little Kelvin break.
Yeah. Well, a huge thank you to all of our viewers in the chat. And oh my gosh, I'm sort of, okay, I went out of order. So just please excuse me. But yeah, so a huge thank you to our patrons and those watching, and for those listening as a podcast. We really do appreciate your support.
Brilliant. Thanks as always to our producer David behind the scenes making the magic happen, and for Kit managing our social media as well, for helping make us a little bit more visible online. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. And if you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/BQN.
Now, if becoming a patron isn't your thing, don't worry. Just please hit that subscribe button, follow us on the socials, and talk about it with your friends and share an episode and say, oh, I learned this cool thing about cosplay, and just share it. That would be fabulous. We love building our little Star Trek community here.
It is. We do this show for you guys. We really do. That's all for today. Thank you all. We will see you again next week. But for now, it's time to end transmission. See you later.